Total Bobaland being very racist? What? What? Bobaland was being racist?
Damn. Pierre done did it to himself. It's unfortunate. I don't even know if he's really black.
What the fuck?
Yeah, the experimental beats is more what Autumn was doing, for sure. Lucky is dark. So 53K. Not bad, to be honest, for being black.
Yo, what the fuck?
So, second most bullet stream on Twitch.
Yeah. No. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on, yo, hold on. Yo, that shit was way too fucking funny. Oh my shit. Oh my shit. Oh fuck. Oh my shit. Hold on. That was too comical. Way too comical. Way too funny. Oh, bro. Oh shit. Get the fuck out of here, dude. That shit was so fucking stupid. Oh. Yo. Oh my fucking god. Hold on.
Unfortunate.
Hold on, hold on, hold
Damn. Pierre done did it to himself. It's unfortunate. I don't even know if he's really black.
You're black, so we hate you.
on. You're black, so we hate you.
Yeah, the experimental beats is more what Autumn was doing, for sure. Lucky is dark. So 53K. Not bad, to be honest, for being black.
Yo, that shit. Yo, they got fucking Peter Griffin. This is real this time.
Holy crap, I'm in Fortnite! Oh my god, this is so freaking epic! Holy crap, Donald Trump! Hello, Peter. Welcome to Fortnite.
Yo, it all makes sense now. Imagine if Donald Trump was in Fortnite. Yo, it would just make the fucking meme all too well. Peter Griffin in Fortnite though. That has to be like literally the greatest collab of all time. Like easily. I'm sorry. Easily the greatest collab of ever. What is King Mill doing? He's reacting to Jace. Like that. I gotta react to Jace. Look. I'll react to it after King Mill's done. Cause I wanted to, you know, get out the way. I wanted all the people who are on that hoe. Well, King Mill's really the only one that I see on that hoe, but you know, I get it out the way. Let it marinate before I give it a good listen to, you feel me? I like to let Jay songs marinate. Because normally that nigga doesn't hit, or fuck, what? That nigga doesn't miss anyways. That nigga don't miss anyways, so every song I listen to is just gonna be fire. I just know that. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna wait a little bit, let the reactors do their shit, and then I'm gonna react to it. Record labels are playing everything. Oh, Lil Yachty did say that, didn't he? He did say some shit like that. Book of Alice. I rock with that nigga. Hold on. I rock with Book of Alice. I could watch him.
From how the Aztecs, or Mexica, discovered the Great Pyramids of Teotihuacan, a group of scientists possibly finding a single cure for all cancers, something previously thought to be impossible, to the greatest debate of all time: is morality subjective? All this and more in the next hour.
Morality, I would say
I've been working on this video for a month or so, and in that time I have found that I enjoy researching ancient history and have bought quite a few books on several topics, so stay tuned for that. From Mesoamerica to ancient Greece, I will explore it all in documentary style. Check out my Instagram and Twitter at Book of Alice, and consider following me on those as a backup. And if you end up enjoying the video, subscribe to the channel for more. Thank you to our channel members who make contents like this possible. Members get access to early release videos, special updates, custom emojis, and more. If you want to support another way, consider subscribing or just binge watch this series and others I have up on the channel. Either way, thank you for watching. First religion was animism. Described as the earliest known religion, predating even large organized religions like Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, animism is described as the attribution of a soul to things like plants, inanimate objects like masks to a rock, and natural phenomena like a river or mountain, believing in a supernatural power that has control over things and animates the universe. When European anthropologists began to study quote-unquote primitive religions, they studied the indigenous cultures of Australia, Africa, island nations, and the Americas, thinking that they were still stuck on levels 1 and 2 of the religious evolutionary stage, describing them as quote-unquote low races. They took advantage. From this study, they hypothesized that our ancestors couldn't clearly distinguish between reality and dream, causing them to believe that their dead relatives were still alive somewhere else, even after death, because they saw them in a dream, basically describing their beliefs as childlike mistakes, confusing reality with dreams they had. This ultimately helped to develop an early idea of souls and spirits in non-living things, according to anthropologist E.B. Tylor. He believed that religion started with animism. An example could be early humans believing volcanoes were spiritual beings, then evolved to polytheism, a belief in multiple gods, like Hinduism, then to monotheism, the belief that there is only one God, an example being Islam, Judaism, and Christianity, though some people do argue that the Trinity concept in Christianity excludes them from being monotheists. But that's besides the point. All this would lead to the pinnacle of human understanding through the use of science, basically our current evolutionary phase and quote-unquote religion, according to Tylor. But of course, science isn't a religion, so I get...
No, it's what happens when you throw all that bullshit out of the window and you let the big boys put their big pants on and let them figure out some shit, you feel me? And that's what I believe. If you got a problem with that,
guess we transcended from that, according to him. Instead of attributing all things in life to a creator, we use science to rationalize the universe. But of course, this was only his theory, and as time went on, scholars began to dispute his ideas, as they were backed by not-so-trustworthy sources. During the time he lived and conducted his study on these African, Australian, and American indigenous cultures, he used the sources on their religions that were tainted with Christian influence, meaning that the religions were not the same as they were thousands of years ago before first contact with Europeans. They had Christian elements mixed into their beliefs, or it had affected their original religious practices in one way or another. The data used was heavily flawed. For example, take the ancient Greeks. They used the science and math to create and explain the things around them, while at the same time being polytheistic, only one step above animism. And according to Tylor's theory, that would make the ancient Greeks a primitive culture, which is ridiculous considering they shaped modern mathematics and philosophy, amongst other things. We haven't been able to upload our consciousness onto the internet just yet, so whether we like it or not, we as mere human beings are prone to bodily injury. A while ago, one of my friends got into a car accident on their way home from work. They got rear-ended. I suggested hiring an attorney, but the idea intimidated them, worrying about wasting money and time. Here's something great for people in similar situation. Morgan & Morgan, today's sponsor, has modernized the injury law process, so you can submit a claim from how the Aztecs or Mexica discovered the indigenous culture, indigenous influence between right and wrong behavior. Check them out in the links. Morality is subjective. Morality is described at its simplest form as principles used to distinguish between right and wrong behavior. So if you say that morality is subjective, it means that each individual comes up with their own morality influenced by their personal beliefs and feelings. Ultimately, there is no universal right and wrong according to this theory. It's all based on your opinion. The overall picture painted seems bleak at first, as most if not everything that we describe as quote-unquote evil in a morality is objective world can be self-justified if you believe that morality is subjective. And this is a pretty dark subject to speak about once you consider all the horrific things human beings have done throughout history. But the question still stands, and has been debated for a long time. Some argue that since science can prove things to be true or false, the same goes for morality. Things are inherently right or wrong, and it's set in stone like that in our brains, adding that there are core fundamental values that are shared amongst all cultures throughout time that never changed, though this can easily be disproven when considering certain cultures that have had or have core values that don't align with ours. Does that make our culture's morality objectively right, or are we in the wrong? only one side can have the objective true set of core values, unless we live in a morally subjective world. Some also argue that morality derived from evolution, therefore it's objective, explaining that fairness and compassion are the founding values morality stands on. The reason we see these traits in the actions of chimpanzees, the closest living relatives of humans. Alpha male chimps who showed less empathy to other chimps are held accountable for their actions and their small societies. On the other hand, the alpha male chimps who tend to show more empathy to others are more favorable in their community. Empathy is also used by apes to topple the current standing alpha if they are the runner-up to the top. And of course, just like humans, they are shown to be more empathetic to apes in their circle than to outsiders. There was also an experiment published on the altruism of chimpanzees, where they asked the question, do chimps care about the welfare of others? They conducted this experiment by putting chimps side by side in different rooms and giving one of them access to green and red tokens with different exchanges. The red token was the selfish token, and they could only exchange it for a single treat for themselves. The green token was the pro-social token, and it could be exchanged for a single treat for themselves and a single treat for the chimp in the other room as well. Though it was expected that the chimp with access to the tokens could care less because they would get a treat either way, more than 55% plus of the time they would choose the green token, even if the other chimp didn't show interest for a treat at that moment. When the other chimp did show interest in wanting a treat to the token having chimp, the pro-social green token was chosen more than 65% of the time. But when the other chimp demanded a treat and began applying pressure to the token having chimp, the token having chimp chose the green token less often. Maybe it found the other chimp annoying or something. And finally, the token having chimp with no partner in the other room chose the green token about 45% of the time, showing that they do care about their fellow chimps' well-being. There's also the Capuchin monkey fairness experiment, where two monkeys are given rewards for conducting the same amount of work, giving a token in exchange for a treat, though one treat is better than the other. One is given only cucumber, while the other is given a much yummier treat, a grape. The one monkey given the cucumber quickly notices that he is given the lesser of the two for the same amount of work. He gives a token and demands a grape by throwing the cucumber back at the person giving out the treats, attempting to escape the cage and reaching for the grape container, knowing he's being treated unfairly. Ultimately, research has found that monkeys show more empathy towards those they know than to others, a human trait. But these values are only the basics of what makes up morality. In human societies, morality becomes much more complex. Many believe that our human moral compass derives from a creator or creators, aka religion, as they find that religion is the only basis of what determines right and wrong. Who or what was Luca? Luca stands for Last Universal Common Ancestor and refers to the last common ancestor of all life on Earth, a microbe that lived 4 billion years ago, from which the three domains of life, bacteria, archaea, and eukarya, derived.
Keep telling y'all. Swear to God, we made up of one thing.
From, including things like fungi, which belongs to a whole different kingdom of their own, separate from plants and animals. All different types of plants, trees, grass, and hemp and whatnot, all the animals from humans to whales, all bacteria. Luca's basically all of our greatest grandfather or grandmother, making us all related. Luca is described as the simplest life form, possibly composed of only 355 genes, compared to humans who have between 20,000 to 25,000 genes. It lived near high-temperature environments, including hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor, though there are still many aspects regarding this theory that are still up for debate amongst scientists.
I don't doubt it. Personally, I don't doubt it. I think it's plausible. Sounds plausible. Sounds like something I know. or something, you know, it sounds like it's believable. I believe it.
Darwin was wrong. When people say Charles Darwin was wrong, they are attacking his theory of evolution by natural selection. His book, titled On the Origin of Species, published in 1859, explained that all living organisms went through the process of change, or evolved, over many generations, by inheriting a variation of traits. Simply put, if an animal has specific traits that increase their chances of survival and have more babies, their babies will inherit those traits, which help them adapt to their environment, as opposed to animals with less adaptive traits. Many of them end up dying before passing them on to the next generation. Over a long enough time period, traits in a species that help them adapt to their environments better and live to reproduce will be more frequent in the population, causing the population as a whole to change, or as we know it, evolve. Though some creationists argue that, sure, microevolution can occur within a species, for example, the way we breed different kinds of dogs, it is much different than macroevolution on the other hand, the creation of an entirely new species through evolution. That's not possible, according to them, arguing that dogs do go through microevolution and have a great contrast from a pug to a German Shepherd, but they never turn into a completely different species, a non-dog, despite going through evolutionary change, meaning dogs never turned into a giant panda due to breeding. They all remain the same kind, a term used by believers of this theory, though this concept of evolution is heavily flawed, as the term kind is often given a subjective meaning, depending on the person and their beliefs. For example, many compare African elephants and Asian elephants, believing that they are the same kind of animal, but yet they cannot interbreed due to their genetic differences. They are two different species. Another argument raised is that of irreducible complexity, stating that a given system in a cell with many moving parts which are required for its function would not function if even one of those parts were removed, ultimately meaning that it could not have evolved from a less complex system. It would have needed an already functioning blueprint of the system for it to work. All components would have needed to be made at the same time in relation to one another. This has even convinced some that there is an intelligent creator of the universe, citing the complexity of the bacterial flagellar motor that works, well, basically like an intelligently designed outboard motor, as some would put it, composed of multiple rings containing components like a drive shaft, a rotor, a stator, the FLIG that regulates the direction of the motor's rotation and determines the flagellar's swimming behavior, all of this powering a tail that functions like a propeller, moving the bacteria through its environment in order to find a nutrient, working almost like a man-made machine. Instead, it's a nano-machine, au naturel. Of course, from our point of view, if a car had no engine, it couldn't run. It would just be a body frame with wheels, pretty useless. In order for it to run, it would need an engine, for it to be a fully assembled car. The point being that the components of the bacterial flagellar motor couldn't have arisen out of evolution.